As an introvert, how do you feel about this quote by Jim Carrey? Solitude is dangerous. It's very addictive. It becomes a habit after you realize how calm and peaceful it is. It's like you don't want to deal with people anymore because they drain your energy. Gets more and more true every year for me. I've been living alone for 3 years now after spending 2 years with college roommates I detested and rarely interacted with. I definitely get this. On the one hand, living alone is great because I don't have to deal with anyone else except for work. On the other hand, I worry that it's doing some long-term damage and have to make intentional effort to counter it because I fear my ability to ever be part of a family again is severely diminished. For me, it's just divided between positive, and negative feedback from interacting with people and dealing with what I need. The vast majority of feedback is often negative. So doing your own thing just becomes simpler and less of a hellaciously unpredictable hassle. If I know that my input and concerns will likely be dismissed out of hand, then F it, no need to bother. I'm a huge introvert, but when I got a customer service job in high school, I noticed my mental health improve a bit. Sure, interacting with people was draining my energy, but I was happier for some reason. Now I have a career in marketing that comes with the perfect balance of socializing and alone time. Sure, interacting with people was draining my energy, but I was happier for some reason. Study after study has linked social interaction with psychological well-being. It's almost as if we evolved as a social species, and the evolution of our brain was driven in large part to create, comprehend and navigate our complex social structures. Being an introvert doesn't necessarily mean you're shy. It means that you get energized by being alone. It doesn't negate the need for social interaction. I've learned to separate those two things. I am shy, but that's a different thing from me being an introvert. When I'm with friends or familiar people, I'm the center of attention, and I love being around them, but at the end of the day, I need a break from them to recharge. Also, when I'm around new people, I'm very quiet, almost mute. That's just me being unfamiliar with my surroundings. I can 100% relate. I live by myself, work in an office with just a few other people, and COVID has made it so I don't see my friends much. Spending 90% of my time alone was trying at first, but now it's becoming less enjoyable to be around people. Sometimes I'll call a friend, and then realize during the conversation that I don't really want to talk to anyone. Luckily, I function well by myself. I can feel you on this one quite a lot. COVID has slowed the world down so much that I caught up, so to speak, and now have time to just relax and be alone with my thoughts. I've had major breakthroughs mentally because I have so much alone time with my thoughts. And I used to hang out and party every weekend, and now people mostly annoy me. And I find myself thinking it's not worth it to go out much anymore. I've been a wildfire lookout observer for about 10 years now, and I agree with Jim about choosing peace and calm instead of dealing with people. The solitude is amazing, and I'm counting down the days until the next wildfire season starts. But I do have some people that I adore and never get sick of. It seems to me that a lot of people are kinda trapped in the grind and don't see how toxic it makes them, because a certain level of toxicity is normal. But it's like my shrink says, normal doesn't mean healthy. The forest and the solitude have some toxicity too. Humans are social animals, and we are meant to be together, and being alone takes its toll. But I'd rather deal with rainy season depression than the constant stress and anxiety of work, bills, family obligations, and traffic. It's about 10 years I live in the woods, so there's that. It started by chance, but now it would be impossible for me to go back and live, even in a small town. But it seems to me it's not so much about being addicted, it's just incontrovertibly better. If you want to see people, you can still drive and meet them. As for people draining your energy, just cut toxic relationships and cherish healthy ones. You're living my dream. I'm very seriously contemplating quitting my job to just be by myself forever. Jim Carrey has bipolar disorder, which, for those unaware, is a disease most often accompanied by crippling bouts of depression, with a capital D, which means the kinds of serious depressions that involve psychomotor retardation and other physiological changes, and that often require hospitalizations. I see quotes such as this as not being about solitude or introversion at all, but about depression, and how he's learned throughout his life what factors he needs to manage that he knows would otherwise be triggers that would send him spiraling down another episode. In addition, he's rich and famous. People are probably more draining to be around because a lot of them will want something from him or jockey for status. Jim probably can't be in solitude around other people because they'd want deeper interactions with him. Whereas we can go into a crowd and enjoy some alone time. For Jim, solitude and physical isolation probably overlap more than they do for the average Joe. I just looked up the term psychomotor retardation, and I found an uncomfortable amount of similarities between what I go through and the symptoms that were listed, as well as similarities with its possible causes. I think I need therapy. I am a musician and a bartender, used to before COVID. I enjoy alone time as much as party nights. Since the pandemic hit and I lost both my jobs, I have been spending most of my time alone, or with my girlfriend. Sometimes I am alone for over a week, don't talk much, no one to talk to, and I have to say it scares me a little how used to it I get. My GF will be like, "When are you coming over? I miss you." And it's not I don't miss her or don't want to be with her, but I just get so used to everything being exactly at my own rhythm, with no external interference. I would definitely say you can get addicted to it. But more than that, I think you can lose yourself into it. I can't wait to play shows or drink shots with clients for exchange. It's true for some people, but unrelated to introversion, and really annoys me when people equate introversion with solitude. I'm a very introverted person, and I love going out to big events. When there's not a pandemic happening, I just need some time alone to recharge afterwards. That's all that extro-introvert means. You either feel energized after participating in social groups, or you feel tired after. You can be an extrovert that hates people but feels like they have to go out into the world just to feel like you did something today. You can be an introvert who is having the time of their life at the party, but needs to go home because they're physically tired now. You can be an introvert who is having the time of their life at the party, but needs to go home because they're physically tired now. I'm this person. I love parties, I love going to parties, I love drinking and dancing, I love being with friends and people I like. But there's always a certain point where I'm like, I'm tired of this. I want to be alone now, and if I can, I leave. I don't see what's dangerous about it. I live in my head. I visit social spaces. That's not addictive, that's just how I'm put together. It's not increasing over time. I've always had my stable recharge space as my personal bubble, where I save up the energy to go do people stuff if I want. I don't see that I have to judge the quality of my life by the amount of time spent around other people. If I want to go out for a walk, I'll read a book or kick back on Reddit. That's just as worthy as yammering at someone up close, and I refuse to treat it as less than. I mean, yeah. Anyone who has been able to work from home and not deal with their usual office bullshit can see this. Used to be more extroverted. Had a pretty successful photography studio, and was vice president of the local arts council. Fell into a depression after a failed back surgery in 2016, and honestly barely leave the house still with the virus. This is exactly how I feel. I only have one real friend at this point. I didn't realize how much energy I was giving away, and now it can be overwhelming. How do I feel about this quote? Just like a lot of things in life, it's not a one-shoe-fits-all situation. Some people find peace in solitude, others think it's hell. Some people think they have solitude, but in truth they're just alone and craving for companionship. Have some balance in your life, damn it. Being by yourself is awesome. Until you realize you're alone.